It is the summer reading program, week 4. Can you believe it's
Halfway.
been 4 weeks? Yeah. How
No, I
exciting.
really can't. I really can't.
I can't either. And today we are talking about, of course, Murder on the Prowl by Rita Mae Brown and Sneaky Pie Brown, her cat. So, I mean, on the cover, it takes a cat to write the perfect mystery.
I will
Does
say,
it?
I know we're gonna get into things, but the picture on the cover, I don't know if you can like, it's not that exciting.
It's not at all. This is one of the most
Um,
boring cat cozies I think I have because I have
yeah.
plenty with like great covers. Yeah.
I still think what I need you to do is make like a solo video on your channel where even if you just pick up 15 and then you rank
Yeah.
them, like I really want that desperately from you.
Yeah.
If
By like
I will tell
covers.
all my friends to watch and like and subscribe.
Rank them by like covers, you mean, or the
Yeah,
stories
like
themselves?
cover, like the cover, which could also include like the title and like the kitschy. Like I do
Mhm.
really like that the cat is co-authored here. Like
Yeah.
things like that, do sell it, I think, a
No,
little bit.
I can absolutely do that.
Yeah, I want
I'll do
that.
that just for you. I'll have a few people watch it and you'll be one.
Private video. Thank you so much. You could have a cameo
That's funny.
cameo account.
Hello,
Uh,
James. Great with the
yes,
emojis.
perfect emojis.
Yeah. High Cycle. Kristen recommended Dan Brown next. No, not for me. I don't know. Maybe it is for me. I've never read Dan Brown.
I've
Let's
never read
be
Dan
real.
Brown either. I've seen
Reed
some of
likes them.
the movies.
Reads into them. Hello,
Oh,
Jesse. Say what? Thanks for being here.
Reed being into Dan Brown is a fun fact that I
Yeah.
did not
Yes.
know and now I love.
Yeah. Well, I'll have him memo you about Dan Brown if you'd like.
I actually would love that.
Okay.
But
I'll
yes,
tell him.
welcome everyone. And if it's your first time, a quick heads up about the flow of the show today. We have a great not sponsor for this episode. We hype it up. We've been hyping it up, and I feel like people. I feel like maybe that was a bad idea, but I had a great time with
Same.
this one. So I'm really excited to get into it. So we'll talk about our not sponsor. We'll go into the gold star segment where we'll rate our read out of 5 stars and talk about it in a non-spoilery way. And as a spoiler for the audience, that might be the larger of the 2 book discussion segments, the non-spoilery one, and they both might be kind of short. So we'll see how that goes. We'll go into the book report, so we'll be able to talk spoilers. And then I'm really excited to talk beach reads, what you've been reading,
Yes.
and then what's upcoming next week. And I'm very excited for next week.
Yeah.
So that is the flow. But you know what? If you're worried about being spoiled for the 6th book in this cat cozy series from the 90s, you got bigger problems, baby.
Yeah. Honestly. Well, and I do want to reiterate what you just said. The actual book discussion may be the smallest we'll have so far, right? So if
Yeah.
you look at this and you're like, I don't care about this book, well, maybe you'll care about our thoughts on the book because I don't know, maybe you will.
Or my random Rita Mae Brown
Yes,
preamble that will be more than my thoughts on the book.
it's truly what you're here for. Is
Yeah.
that?
Yes.
And I think it's time.
Okay. Drum roll.
Cycle. Our code is not Dan Brown stinks, but we'll just have Reed comment on that later. It'd be great.
I'm very excited for this
People
private
are going on
podcast
Dan
that I'm
Brown.
getting. Yeah.
Please hand me that, Reed. Thank you.
I thought it was a cue card about Dan Brown for a second.
Reed, I can't hear you while you're talking. Okay. I didn't have my board near me. I was like, can you please bring it to me? Thanks, Reed. Appreciate you.
You mean you don't have that displayed at all times?
I should. It was like leaning over there, and I was like, oh no, I can't get it.
You should put it in that corner of your room where all the stuffed animals are, like as the background.
Oh, you're right. I should. Oh,
be so cute.
I should.
At the end. Otherwise, it's too much every week going to get it down.
All right. Are you guys ready for the sponsor? Here we go. Here we go. This week is not sponsored by Lisa.
An icon. Truly. A legend.
Truly
I heard treated her employees poorly.
Oh no, I didn't even know all this. Oops.
Oops. I was like, let me find out fun facts about Lisa Frank to share with the
You
group.
were
And I was
like,
like,
yikes.
this is kind of a bummer. But I will say, just the only thing I'll really say is you can Google images of the abandoned Lisa Frank factory in Arizona. And I think that just represents American society today, like the decline of
Wow.
American society.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
yeah, highly recommend.
I'm
But we
absolutely
decided to have fun with this sponsor, Kristen.
We did. You were like, hey, what if we have prompts? And I was like, great. So we have two different slideshows regarding Lisa Frank and the characters within. Yeah, that's our fun fact. Lisa Frank is terrible, I guess.
Fun fact. Everything sucks. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what, Jessica? I think we're going to start with yours. What do you think? Are you good with that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm
It-
ready for that.
It's just the first in my queue here, so here we
Okay,
go.
so we have the same 7 prompts. Some of them are just flat out like this one. And then some of them pertain to each other a bit. So first up, we have most likely to commit murder.
Yeah.
This guy actually, when I was Googling, I don't know how you did it. Lisa Frank, not a good boss. Do you want to describe Lisa Frank? How
Well,
would
I
you
was like, maybe
describe
we
Lisa
should do
Frank
that
to an
before we jump in.
alien?
Yeah, so back in the 90s, there was a lot of colorful artwork that was put on school supplies for children. Mostly I remember having like the notebooks with Lisa Frank art all
Yeah.
over it, very bright,
Folders, trapper
colorful,
keepers.
yeah, neon, pencils, I mean, everything. Um, and it was just a thing that like kids loved and I loved. And I guess the art's still around. You probably know more. You've looked into this.
I was
But
horrified by how bad of a boss she was, so I didn't dig in
oh,
too deep. But, the company the licensing of, like, the art and things like that is ongoing, but I think Lisa Frank as, like, a company is not quite what
mm,
it used to be, which sounds like for the better.
yeah.
But yeah, it was like a design, an art company. I'm trying to think of, like, is there an equivalent of this today? That's not like a character from something, but that's just like the vibes of something.
Not that I can think of.
Wow.
And Lisa Frank, I mean, it was all like animals and aliens and things like that. So within these slideshows, we are going to, put one of those characters into the
Yeah.
prompt. And you'll see, like, this guy's absolutely going to commit murder. You were dead on with this one, Jessica.
That's the crazy eyes.
That's absolutely true.
Also, I don't so when we had these prompts, I just was like, all right, Lisa Frank art, Lisa Frank characters, and I just kind of had the prompts out and I was just looking. And this was actually one of the first images that popped up. I don't remember. There are a couple that I included that I very distinctly remember growing up.
Hmm.
That I actually got to pick for this, which was fun. But this one I have no memory of, and that's probably for the best because he's horrifying. But let me ask you this: I don't know if you've seen Tiger King or not, but I know you've seen the image. But does this
Yeah.
koala bear give off Tiger King vibes to you?
Yeah,
The
100%.
aesthetic.
100%.
So naturally, I picked
Yeah.
him or them. I don't know because of the eyes and because I have heard koalas can be kind of antagonistic and like violent sometimes. I don't know if that's true. If any Australians are watching and I offended your culture, like I am very sorry. Excited for the World Cup this summer to be hosted there. No disrespect, but I've heard that they're like deceptively cute. Not this one. So yeah, he was most likely to commit murder immediately, no competition. I'm excited to see yours because when I saw him, I thought if this comes up for Kristen, she's picking this guy because it's so
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. You know what? I think I could actually go back and forth between our slides if we want to try
Oh,
that
okay.
and
I
just
don't
see
know
if that
what
works.
order. Yeah. If you think you can figure it out.
Well, here's the thing. I handed yours to Reed and I said, I'm not going to look at these,
Oh,
but you should
okay.
put mine in the same order. And so he put it together and I just
Oh,
sent him the
okay.
images. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
that sounds great then. I'll read
yeah.
comments while you. Oh, you can switch so quick. Okay.
I didn't know it would work, but here we are. All
Wow.
right. My most likely to commit murder. Look at this
That
guy. Here's the
that
thing.
is very scary.
Yeah, I just saw it and I was like, this guy's horrifying. Look at those eyes. He's dead inside,
Is
and
this like
so
a
is
early
everyone
Lisa
around
Frank?
him. I don't know. It just popped up. And again, I did the same thing. Lisa Frank art, Lisa
Mm-hmm.
Frank characters. But I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't like how he was looking at everybody. I didn't like the heart. Clearly he's been in prison. He's got the heart tattoo on his butt. Okay, he's already committed a murder.
That's a prison tattoo for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
So that guy.
Yeah, that's terrifying, and I
Yeah.
wish I could erase it. Actually, you win. It's not a competition. No one's voting. No one chime in about the winner because I'll feel bad about myself.
I
But
don't
this
know.
wins.
Yours is great. Yours is great. Real quick, Hayden has a
Yes.
follow-up on last week's nostalgic snacks.
Yes.
Lunchables just got renamed to Lunchers in the UK, and it sucks. Lunchers?
Wait,
Why?
but it wasn't called Lunchables in the UK originally, right, Hayden? Isn't that what you said? It had a different name that I don't think we loved. And if we had to pick between
Yeah.
that name that I clearly blocked out of my memory or Lunchers gives, oh, Cycle says this. Lunchers does give like a British, that's like the vibe.
That's true. I
Lunches,
feel
you
that.
know?
Right, right.
I could just hear them saying that.
Absolutely agree. Hello, Farhan. When I am here, but I want to show
Whoa.
my love and support for this wonderful summer reading streams. Have been watching our replays. So you beautiful ladies, keep doing what you do best. Peace and love. Farhan, that's a very sweet.
Aw,
for
thank
that.
you, Farhan. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Glad you're having fun.
Well, hey, why don't I just go to slide 2 on mine, and then I'll go back to yours.
That's a great idea. You're so
Yeah.
good at this slide
Oh my
situation.
gosh, thank you.
Wow. Wow.
Do my best.
I knew
right.
you were going to pick this.
Is anyone surprised these would be my future
Well,
pets? Look at these guys.
Kristen, there are like 100 different cats, but I just knew
It's true.
these were the cats, especially because that one
Oh.
on the bottom, that like
Yeah.
face it's making,
Yeah.
that's adorable.
Perfect
I wanna, like,
face.
right
yeah, I
now.
know. It's like it reminds me of Buffy a lot, like that cat.
Oh,
Like, with her
I
face
do
and
love
look-
that.
Yeah.
Do you get the butterflies as bonus pets, or what are you thinking?
I think we couldn't do that because Reed's terrified of butterflies. Fun fact about Reed.
We are learning
a lot this
so
stream.
much about Reed tonight.
He's terrified of butterflies. Like if we go to like we've, been to any of those, those like indoor butterfly exhibit things.
Yeah.
He won't do that. He will not go through that.
Well, they also freak me out. So like I kind of get that. But okay, I need to process this for just a second. He's okay though with birds.
No, he's terrified of birds.
He's also terrified of birds. Okay,
Yeah.
clarifying we were on the
There's
same
a
side.
flying situation. Terrified of bees.
Yeah. Well, they sting and people are allergic. So
yeah.
Do your pets have names?
Oh my gosh, hold on. I haven't thought about it.
Okay. No pressure.
Wow. I feel like I would keep with the Buffy theme.
Okay.
That I've had going on. So I think the pink one is Tara.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think the one in the bottom there is Faith.
Yes. I was hoping you would say that one was Faith. It gives I could see that one being Faith.
Yeah, she got Faith vibes, 100%.
Yeah. That's crazy that I just knew you were gonna pick this one. Literally. Anyways. Love it. Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah. Follow up on Lunchables. There were originally Lunchables and Snackables in the UK, and now they're just Lunchers and Snackers. Oh. They're like too many syllables, the first one. Can't do it.
I do like Snackers. That's so cute. It sounds
cute,
like something you would tell a little child. Like, you want some Snackers?
You want a snacker?
Snackers.
All right. Slide 2 for you.
My future pets.
Georgia
I named them.
I should have named them. Yeah. That's adorable. Here's the thing. I actually saw those dogs and I was like, what would Jessica pick? Probably those dogs.
Oh my God. Are you being serious?
Yes.
We know each other so well.
Yes. I was like, those are probably her dogs.
Yeah.
Also,
and
they're adorable. They got the floppy ears. How cute.
They're so cute. I mean, like Rainbow Dalmatian. Yes.
Yeah.
And these were ones that I do remember from my childhood. I had a folder with these two and I loved them. So I named them after Georgia O'Keeffe and Andy Warhol because they're like artists. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, I love them. I'm glad to reclaim them all these years later. It took a while to find that folder because that was like the tricky part is like sometimes you would really want one, but they would be out of stock and you had to settle for something else. Lame.
Yeah, that is lame.
But yeah.
Good choice. Great choice.
Solid.
Yeah. All right. Next one is my wedding cake topper. You even included these photos.
So here's what I'm seeing. It's like a concept board. Okay. So it's these aliens, which there were several, and I remember these as well from childhood. I don't know about this picture specifically, but these aliens are in a lot.
I remember this picture specifically. Yeah.
And like the peace sign and the smiley face like dominated in the 90s as like, so this is like a culmination. So what I'm picturing is that scene in Greece where they fly off in the car at the end it's like that kind of coming
Mm,
off. And so I Googled, and this is an image of like a real wedding cake. So just kind of picture those aliens like floating
yeah,
off there. And that's kind of what I'm envisioning for my wedding cake topper.
that is perfect.
Yeah, I loved it.
Guess what I chose for mine?
More cats.
Girl.
Are we marrying each other?
What's going on here? What's going
We're
on
like
here?
this. We're like this.
It's great. It's great. It's perfect.
And that's the folder, Kristen.
And that's the folder.
Yeah.
I remember. I think I had this folder. Also with the
I love it.
rainbow and the spacey. It's just
Yeah.
it's a great image. It's great aliens that Lisa Frank had.
Because they
good.
could put the
Just good.
planets like on the side of the cake. You know how people do
Right.
that?
It's a whole theme.
Yeah.
You could put the rainbow all around.
Oh,
Right.
it's such a good idea. And like
Yeah.
zooming like around the cake, zooming up to the back of the car, like coming out of the car like an exhaust.
And to be able to
Let's
like have
throw a
topper.
wedding.
I mean, honestly, someone needs to do this. To have the like car sitting on the top too, like it would be so easy to be a topper because it's already got the sturdy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's perfect.
Absolutely. I do actually think, not me, but my sister was obsessed with the idea of getting a Beetle, like a Beetle Volkswagen, because they were also very big in like the mid 2000s. And that's when she was like getting ready to learn how to drive. And so when she was younger, she actually did have a birthday cake with a little like VW bug, and then it had like sunflowers all over the cake. It was very cute. Yeah.
Love that.
Mhm.
Love that.
So if any of you are getting married and you need a cake designer, you
Great
know
idea.
who to call. Did you see how in sync we were? That is a creative team.
That is right. We're killing it over here. All right. Next prompt. Who needs their own graphic novel?
This is a classic Lisa Frank.
Here's
classic. If you don't know this seal, what are you doing?
I mean, honestly, what are you doing? And this seal to me, look at those eyes. He's got a lot going on in there.
He does.
He has lived a life, and I want to know about it.
Yeah.
I also imagine all the colors throughout the whole book with the water theme would just be beautiful. I want to go under the sea with him. I want to see what he sees
through the big eyes.
Yes. Absolutely. I want it.
And that seahorse is so cute.
Yeah, that's his little friend.
Is that his friend?
Yeah, and they're going to go on adventures together.
Is it crazy that there hasn't been a Lisa Frank graphic novel? Now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of insane, right?
Yeah, because like again, the colors throughout would be it'd be the perfect element for it. Beautiful.
Yeah. At the very least, like use them for a dream sequence for a series that takes place in the 90s. Like someone falls asleep. You know, the classic, like you fall asleep in class.
Yes.
And then you like visualize and you wake up and then everybody's like, ha ha ha, you know, it's like that.
Absolutely. Perfect. Love that. And who did you choose?
This guy is an icon.
This guy is an icon. Spoiler, I used this guy for a different prompt. So get ready for that.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. So yeah, this is Pablo the painter. I named them. I don't know their gender yet. But my like story behind it. First off, Pablo, and that's just my name for this panda. I have no clue what this panda is called. But Pablo, or a version of this panda, like was in a lot of Lisa Frank stuff, wearing a top hat and a tuxedo, a painter, riding on a bike. They've like really gone a lot of places, but in this particular image, I chose it because in my head, it's kind of like a superhero series. And you know how like I think what their power is, or their ability is, they paint whatever they paint comes to life. So like if they want to like build a road to go somewhere, they just paint it, right? Or like if they want to build a weapon, they just paint it.
Wow.
So that's what I'm like picturing for Pablo. Yeah, but I had to use them because this is like one of my favorites. Outside of those panda or those Dalmatians is this panda. Those are my like top 2 Lisa Franks of all time.
This panda is
so
great.
Pablo the painter. Somebody get on it. Tom King.
I mean, honestly.
Write a 10 issue.
Don't ruin it.
Pablo needs to take antidepressants by the end of the series.
All right. Oh, my Memoji.
First off, I do want to say I don't love emojis, but my dad uses them a lot. So when we were thinking of challenges, I was
I
like,
feel that. I feel that.
I chose this one for you. Of course, it's a cat, but
Yeah.
the toe beans are like really present. And I think you could do a lot with that. Like, see how
Yeah.
expressive this cat
Yeah.
is? And that's really it. That's why I picked them. They also have a really fabulous rainbow background. So
Love
yeah,
it. Yeah, that's
Christmas
perfect for me.
emoji. Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you want to take a stab at who I picked? You want to
Now
guess?
I'm gonna guess Pablo is my emoji. I'm emotional.
Jessica, here's the thing. When I picked this one, I was like, I hope she wears a backwards hat on this stream because that is immediately. I saw that one and I was like, the hat, and I can imagine you wearing overalls. Okay, I haven't
I
seen it,
would.
but I can imagine it. Yeah, Pablo's got style and grace.
I'm so flattered you think I have style.
Pablo's an icon. Like, just
Love.
immediately, I was like, the hat, it's you, it's you.
And like Pablo, I'm also short and have to pretty much cuff all of my jeans as well.
There you go.
Well, I'm honored, and I'm wondering if we are, in fact, living in each other's heads rent free. You're the
I love
landlord of my brain, and I would have it no other way.
it. I love it. Hello, Crazed. This is so nostalgic. So much back to school memories
Yes.
here. Feeling so cool with my fresh Lisa Frank supplies. Oh, it was the best. The
We didn't
best.
include. Well, maybe you did. I should have included a collage. I didn't. I took for granted that people would
Mm,
like know who Lisa Frank is.
I
But
did the
I
same.
remember
Yeah.
how pumped I would get pumped before a holiday when they would have like Halloween, like a package of Halloween erasers that were Lisa Frank.
Yes, the Halloween stuff was the best.
And
The
your teacher would
best.
whip them out and you'd be like, please be the one I want. Please get me the
Yeah.
one that I want. Oh, I could smell them right now.
Yeah. Oh, what a great time. All right, our next
Mm.
prompt. Our favorite superhero sidekick. I picked Rogue. And I mean, look at this tiger. This tiger was also one of the more iconic Lisa Frank things that would,
Hmm.
always be on
Yeah,
things.
agreed.
But when I was thinking about,
Mm.
so Rogue is probably my favorite, right? And she's got a lot going on. She's got difficult things going on in her life, right? And I just feel like this tiger would be a great sidekick for her.
Mm.
Because he'd have that like little sweet element. Look at his eyes. He's a sweet soul.
So
But
sweet.
also, if she needs help fighting people, some bad guys, he's there. He's got it. He's got the claws. He can jump on people. Like he will have her back.
Yeah,
That's why
I
I
do
picked
love that. I do love that. I'm also wondering, like, this is a real question about Rogue's power for a second. Can Rogue pet animals? Because she's not touching their skin. And if
him.
she did touch the skin of this tiger, in some versions it may drain the tiger a bit, but would she then like be able to have the tigers? I mean, yeah, right? Can get it from animals or no?
That's something I don't know. People in the chat or watching later, please let me know. I need
Yeah,
to.
let
I'm
us
gonna
know
do some
about Rogue and
research.
animals.
Yeah, I actually don't know. It's a great question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm really well, it's a great choice.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
And
you.
we're both in the cat kingdom right now
Oh, I love it. Love
because
it.
we are the same. um so this is sidekick to the Flash, Wally West Flash, which is my favorite Flash. Naturally, it's a cheetah, so it could try to keep up with the Flash. It would probably still need powers, but I do have a backstory that would allow for this. So this cheetah's name is called Bullet. That's what I'm calling them. I don't support guns, but it just was cute.
Yeah,
um,
it's cute.
so Bullet. And the backstory is that Linda Park, Wally's wife, was doing a journalism expose at a zoo that was testing on animals to give them power. So she rescues the animals, and the cheetah stays with them. And the cheetah gets like super, 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 super speed. So that is Bullet, Wally West's sidekick. I love that
It's perfect.
there's also a bonus beetle or something like that on the flower.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Love that. Psycho says humans are animals, so I'd
Hmm.
say yes. Well, it's fair. That's fair. Well, and I believe this is our last slide, right?
Second to last because you have one too, but yes.
Right. Well, yeah, the last prompt. Sorry.
Yes.
I just like looked at it.
Kristen's fireplace
It's so
art.
cute.
So
cute.
I almost chose the cats and sunflowers as this. I knew I was like, okay, we're gonna do this, but commission it so that Lisa Frank does, or someone who works for the company does
It's
Buffy and
perfect.
Willow.
I love it so much.
I just love the shoe. Like, I think the
Yeah.
Converse shoe with the rainbow laces is like, it's giving. And what I picture is happening is like they do that in the middle, and then you have like individual pictures of the two of them on their respective sides of the
Ooh.
fireplace. Because you got to lean in, like Magneto did in the X-Men Evolution comic. You got to
Yeah,
lean into your brand. So I hope you love
absolutely.
this commission that I did.
I love it so much. Thank you for that. I saw this image several times and I was like, I want to pick these cats
They're
for
so
this
cute.
shoe, especially because one's like an orange cat and one does look like
Hmm.
Buffy kind of. So like, I mean, it was perfect, but I couldn't figure it out. So
Hmm.
you did it perfectly. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're
Now
welcome.
I
It
need
was
that over my non-existent fireplace.
you do. You need buy a fake fireplace
Yes.
just for that.
Well, my pick was
Mm.
potentially a cop out. Okay, I
Uh-oh.
will admit to that because
Oh, that's a great one though.
I was like, what better? Like I was just thinking a big, like
Mhm.
big,
Mhm.
wonderful painting of just like the best of the best. And you got
Yeah.
the rainbow coming in. And this is a nice one that's kind of a collage of like several characters we didn't get
Yeah.
to, right? So
I love it. Yeah, I saw a version like this and almost did the same, so I love it. I also love that the animals on the bottom are having Neapolitan ice cream because that was also very big
yes.
in the 90s, and it freaked me
Yes.
out. I hate strawberry ice cream. I do not the
I
idea of it makes me physically ill.
I was not a fan of Neapolitan either. So yeah.
I don't like when they touch. It's gross. But I do
And
love
that
this. I love that bear. It's cute.
that was a big theme with Lisa Frank too. They often had like food involved, like snacks or ice creams.
Tacos.
Very
Yeah.
often, yeah. Which we didn't show much of that, but it did exist. So there's like
Yeah,
the dog and the cat with the gumballs, we're
oh,
here.
yeah, on the gumball machine. I see that. Yeah. I love it. The butterfly that's above the top hat reminds me of butterfly clips, so oh, I
Oh,
just saw the little turtle with the flower at the bottom.
yeah, he's so cute. A lot of good
And
stuff.
the umbrella of the penguins is a watermelon. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't even notice that. How
That's
cute.
cool.
That is cool.
Wow.
Lisa Frank.
When we were a country. We were a country. I we were never really.
No,
My politics are unfiltered, I guess, today. Apologies,
I
everyone.
appreciate it. That's okay. All right. Well, those are our slideshows on Lisa Frank, our not sponsor today.
Yes, yes. And we'll move into our gold star segment. It's time.
It is
Where we
time.
will discuss non-spoilery Murder on the Prowl by Rita Mae Brown. And Kristen, I think you've shared this, but just really quick, how we picked this book, and had you read Rita Mae Brown before?
Yes. So, anyone who watches me at all potentially may know I have a lot of cat cozy mysteries, specifically involving cats. Those are my preferred ones, but some of them just have great covers that involve cats
Mm,
for some reason. But Rita Mae Brown is very prolific in this cat series. There are tons of them. And I often find them for very, very cheap at used bookstores I go to. So I've just been gathering them up. Have I read any of them? Absolutely not. Not until now. But I'm glad to have finally read one because I have too many. And the way I picked it, because we're like, how do we pick? And I was like, you know what? I probably have a double. I've
mm.
often grabbed them thinking I don't have it, and then I do. I'm better at that now. I have a list. Don't worry about it. But
I
I
love
was
that for
like,
you. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, oh, I have two of these, so you can
Mhm.
absolutely have one, and that's how we picked. This is book 6 in the series.
Mhm.
Cozy Mysteries are supposedly made where you can just jump in at any time, right? And just live your life. I guess kind of like comics, right? You jump into a run and you just have to be like, oh, that probably happened. These characters exist, right?
Yeah, some
Um,
people do that, yes. Yes.
yes, some people live their life that way.
Mhm.
So that is how we came to this decision.
Mhm. But you've not read any other
I
Rita Mae
haven't.
Brown, and you've not read any of the so this is like a double whammy first. No cat cozy you'd read before.
I've read cat cozies, but not
Oh,
this
okay, okay.
series.
But none
Yeah.
that you owned?
No, I have, yeah, but not this
Oh.
series.
Okay, not this series, not
Yeah,
this
yeah.
series. Okay. We're on the same page. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. This is
But I
actually
also
replicating my experience with this book. No, just kidding.
well, and you had a background of, like, knowing who she is, but I did not. I just
Yes.
knew her from the series, so I haven't seen any of the
Yes.
movies or anything.
Yes, yes. So I have like a much longer history with Rita Mae Brown, and so the knowing that she wrote actually not just cat cozies, I think she has one that centers around a nun as well, like a nun
Oh,
solving mysteries.
interesting.
And we'll get into it all in a second. But yes, I was like blown away because years ago, I in a women's lit class was assigned, I think this was in college actually, Ruby Fruit Jungle, which is like not her first book, I don't believe, but the one that really put her on the map. And this is really considered like a seminal piece of like lesbian fiction, for a couple reasons. It came out, I believe, in the 70s. One of the reasons that it really sticks out, and this is ironic because you just read Flung Out of Space not too long ago, which is about Patricia Highsmith, and she wrote, of course, The Price of Salt that would become Carol. One reason that book stands out is it's not like a depressing ending, but it was so rare, and it remained rare really up until this book. And so this book is not necessarily a romance. It's really a coming of age story. And it kind of transcends genre quite a bit because you'll see this even in just American fiction classes, just generally speaking. So it is quite famous. This is the like original cover for it, but there are new covers now. But so I knew this, like I'm studying this in college, right? Like this is who I think this person is like a intensive fiction writer. And then she wasn't in my life for like several years, but I distinctly remember the cover of this book. It's a great book. Definitely check it out. Um, but the next time I would see her relates to something about me that people, when they find out, occasionally are pretty surprised about. I think it's on brand for me, but people seem surprised, which is that I really love 80s slashers. Like, I just love them so much. Like, the dumber, funnier, gorier, the better, as far as I'm concerned. It's like my favorite way to just like tune out reality. And we don't have to psychologically analyze me today on this Sunday, so we won't. But several years ago, and many years after reading Ruby Fruit Jungle, my friends who live up the street, that's like what we do a lot in the summer. We'll just pick a random one that's super like available on YouTube or streaming. And we picked, and I'm going to show this cover. There is no nudity on this cover, but it is like a horror movie cover. So if you don't want to see a horror movie cover, don't look for a second. But we picked Slumber Party Massacre. That's a drill. That's the weapon. And it says, close your eyes for a second and sleep forever. So we pick it, we put it on. I'm just picturing what I'm always thinking is going to happen in like an 80s horror slasher. And the first thing I notice is like it starts playing and I see the directed by and it's a woman's name. So I Google it. I'm like, oh, okay. So this is the first slasher directed by a woman, heads up. Then it says the writer's name and it says Rita Mae Brown. And I was like, no, surely not the same Rita Mae Brown. That's crazy. I Google it. It is. And so I'll just tell this really briefly because I don't have much to contribute on the actual book. We'll talk in a second. But I just think it's an interesting like story because it results in a kind of odd end product if you are into 80s slashers. But essentially, Rita Mae Brown did write a pilot that was supposed to be a horror parody that was really playing on the tropes of like horror at the time, which horror in the 80s was very like slasher, very exploitative in nature, particularly of women. And so she was writing this story that like was supposed to be a parody. Think like Scream and how Scream handles horror only like 10 years earlier, which is a really cool and revolutionary idea. But she'd never done a screenplay. She's only known for this like lesbian fiction and other fiction at the time that was very like women's lit sort of focused. And so her script basically went to die at a company that was owned by this guy, Roger Corman. If you know anything about the 80s, Roger Corman is like the king of exploitation horror films. Like I'll use the more PG versions of the words, but he like had quotas for like boobs, butts, and blood for what needed to be shown in a movie. Like that was this guy's like whole brand. And so at the time, the script lays kind of by the wayside for a while. And then there's a woman who's working in Roger Corman's company who's an editor who really wants to get her break, but she can't get it anywhere. But because Roger Corman's company really liked working with her as an editor, she wanted her directorial debut and she got it with them. And so they let her pick a script. she picked this script written by Rita Mae Brown because she thought like, oh, this is a great fit. But the problem is like she's still producing for Roger Corman's company. So the end product is definitely a horror comedy. It's not like a super serious slasher. And there are things in it that are very like countercultural for the time, but then they also have all these like obligatory boobs, butts, and blood like quota. And so it's a real like hodgepodge of a film. It is my personal favorite, like 80s horror slasher. And if you do wind up watching it, if this is your jam, the cover of Ruby Fruit Jungle, this cover will be in one of the scenes in the background. So it's a fun thing to look out for. So I'm like, wow, this woman does so much. Since then, I just will shout out 2 books I do really enjoy. Venus Envy, which is a story about a woman who has been diagnosed with a terminal illness and she hasn't come out to her family as a lesbian yet. And so she wants to do that before she dies. Spoiler alert, it's on the back of the book. Turns out she she goes to set out to do that and then realizes the diagnosis was not real and she is going to survive and live. And so how she like grapples with if she still wants to come out and what that looks like. And then High Hearts, which is essentially Mulan, but the Civil War. So there's a lot of like interesting stuff she's written, but even in knowing all of that, I never knew until I was at your house and you pulled one of these. I don't know if it was this one off. And I was like, this lady also wrote cozy mysteries. What a woman. And not mean to her employees, as far as I can see. So
Love that about her.
anyways, I wanted to give that background because it's just like, it is wild, like how many different things she's done. And what was super interesting is, like I mentioned, some of the choices made in Slumber Party Massacre totally make sense when you know who is writing the movie, which is very cool. And then we'll get into it. But there are a few things in here that also were like, oh, I know like the background of this person. And so it's leaning into how I read some of the things in this book. So, anyways, that's way more than I'll have to say on the book itself. But Rita Mae Brown is an awesome woman. I highly recommend checking out some of her work, and it's a wide range. So maybe you'll find something you like.
I love that. I'm actually going to go to a bookstore tomorrow when we go on our trip. So I wrote down those other books by her because I
Yeah,
haven't read them and they sound really good. So those look like mass markets that I could just find at used places
easily.
probably. So
Yeah, and this has never gone out of print. Like there are new covers of this that are also widely available. It's also very short, and I just can't stress enough, like I mentioned it's the seminal work of like lesbian fiction, but I want to stress that it's really a coming of age story that like anyone can read. This is really just about a girl from a small town. She discovers she's outgrown her small town and moves to New York City, like makes new friends, discovers more things about herself, and I think that story can speak to so many experiences. So this is definitely the pinnacle of her work. I would still encourage everyone to pick this one for sure if they can find it.
I'm definitely going to be looking tomorrow. Thank you for that.
Hmm.
I love that background. I also need to watch that movie now for sure. Crazed asked back to butterflies.
Yeah,
Did some
let's go.
unspoken trauma happen between Reed and winged animals? I'm gonna ask him. I'll come back to you on that.
You've
I
never
will.
asked. You're
I
dating, and he's like, "I'm terrified of birds and butterflies." And you never were like,
well, I'm
"Why?"
just like, well, yeah. I'm like, what's your deal? And he's just like, they're scary. They're
They are.
flying everywhere. They're unpredictable. And I'm like, all right.
They are.
So many stickies in Jessica's book. Love
I
that.
tried at the beginning. I was really thought I was doing something, but
Yeah,
I don't
love
know.
that. Jessica, have you seen I Drink
Oh
Your Blood?
no, but I will look it up on Letterbox. Absolutely.
I always forget I have my Letterboxd account. I have one, but
I
I
love
don't
it.
remember.
Gets me to watch more movies because sometimes I'm more into TV and like books.
Hmm.
But ever since I joined Letterboxd, I find myself more often than not, like, reaching for a movie.
Nice.
So yeah, I highly recommend it. I also think
Yeah,
the reviews are just so funny on that.
I'll have to get back into it.
Oh yeah, I'll be watching this. Thank you so much.
All right, so non-spoiler thoughts. Although, here's the thing. We're not going to spoil this book. There's just not a way, right? Is
Revealing who
there?
the killer is, maybe.
Well, no.
Killer?
There's a way to do that.
Killers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were going to tell me, by the way, if you finish this book, are you going to start there?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was like, listen, I thought you were gonna tell me your non-spoiler reviews. I was like all cozied in. Yes. So really briefly, I was on pace. You're correct, Crazed. I was like doing good. I was at 50% the first week, like since our last show. And then I was like, I'm on pace. And around that time, Kristen messaged me and she said, "Hey, how are you like feeling about this book?" And I was like, "Why do you not want to finish?" She's like, "I mean, I may not." And I was like, "Listen, that's totally fine. Like, if you, I won't want to make you push through." And that whole time I thought, I'm going to finish any day. And then like 2 days later, Kristen is like done and I haven't moved at all. Um, and I'll talk a little bit more at the end because I'm going to ask people for recommendations. But I'm going on a trip actually tomorrow across the country to the Pacific Northwest, and I told Kristen like that's where my mind has been, and so I had an incredibly difficult time focusing, and I wasn't finished even as of last night. But this morning, I went on a walk
Wow.
and I listened to speed audio on the library audio copy, and I did finish this book.
Wow.
Yeah,
So the way I
commitment.
finished was also two-speed audio, and that is why I did it so quickly. Does that mean I really retained everything? Absolutely not. No.
No. From,
No, it
like,
does
the
not mean
50% to the 90%, I but oh, what's this book about, you might ask?
that. Oh.
Really quickly, Kristen mentioned this is the 6th one. I will say also my copy has, like, an inscription. I always love
Oh, it does
finding
it?
those. Yeah.
What's it
"To
say?
my little sister Judy, with love from Shirley,
Oh,
March 2nd, 1999."
Judy was like, "Absolutely not."
Essentially, this is mostly about this woman named, Harry Harrison? Yes. And her animals, Mrs. Murphy, which is the cat, and T. Tucker, which is the dog. You know, and I just wanna say the cat's on the cover, but the dog was as much of a main character, and I feel like
Yeah, I don't get that either.
that was a weird choice. But
Oh, the
essentially
dog's on the cover too.
but it's not well, I guess, okay, yeah, yeah, that's true, that's true. I just think of it like a but maybe this is the author cat on the spine?
Yeah,
Like
that
it
I think that's Sneaky Pie
okay, okay, that
because
makes
he's
more
on
sense.
most of the books. The little
Which is
silhouette, yeah.
cute. You mentioned it's co-authored, and in the back, they do have Rita Mae Brown's, like,
Oh,
author biography and Sneaky Pie Brown, and
perfect.
I did think that was cute and a little bit
Yeah.
but, Harry lives in this small town with a ginormous cast of characters, which we'll get into in a second,
Yeah.
and the main premise of the book is, like, the animals talk, the people talk, not to each other, though. Well, the humans, I guess, do talk to the animals, but the crux is that, obituaries are coming out throughout the first part of the book where it's announcing someone's death, only they find out that person's still alive, and then some time passes and the people who the obits were about do start actually dying, in this town, and it's a lot of, like, interpersonal drama, like, a ton of interpersonal drama in this town. So that's kind of the setup of the mystery, and Harry, I guess, has solved crimes before in the other 5 books, and so have T. Tucker and what's the cat's name?
Mrs. Murphy.
Mrs. Murphy, and
Yeah.
so they're, like, they're, like, on the case. That's the setup of Murder on the Prowl.
Yep, well done.
Yeah.
So speaking of the cast of characters,
Yeah, let's talk about it.
that's something you immediately run into when you open the book. It literally says cast of characters. Okay. So there's those. And then they keep going, and that's too many characters. That's
Yeah.
too many characters.
It was
No.
really confusing from the beginning, and Kristen and I did, when we connected about how we were feeling, I said, "Maybe if we started in book 1, it'd be less confusing because they probably build up the cast."
Hmm.
So but you mentioned, that your perception is and I don't really do cozies, like, I'm not opposed to them, but they're just not my thing, but what you said, I also had heard, which is, like, you should theoretically be able to pick up any one, but maybe
Right.
that's not always true, like, I don't
Sure.
know. So I don't wanna hold against this book, like because if I picked up the 6th in a fantasy novel, I'd have no clue what was going on, you know?
Right.
I don't know.
Um,
But it
and it
is a huge cast of characters.
huge cast. It does make me, I have to tell you, no matter what I thought about this book, it makes me want to read the first one and see if that's true. Like to
Yeah.
see if they're going to build up the characters from there. Because if that's the case, then that would have absolutely helped my reading of this, of course.
Mhm.
But without that, I was continuously confused.
Yeah.
I even if I put all of my effort into reading just this and not doing anything else, like
Mhm.
I was like, no, I still don't know who some of these people are. So many characters.
Yeah. Because it's not like, sometimes when you have a large cast supporting cast, if you're watching a show, You will have an episode that will just focus on a pocket, you know, of like the supporting cast. It's not like that. They really weave in and out like all 20 of these. It's not like when you read the list of characters, the last 15 are like barely in it. Like some of these people became main characters towards the end and were barely introduced in the first like 40%. And so it made it really hard to be like, wait, who is this? Like I thought I was following along. I will say some of the characters in the early part, Mari, Jody, even if I didn't love them, they were very distinct. So some of them
Mhm.
I really remembered because like I felt like they were distinct from Jump. And honestly, the animals were very distinct. But another thing that
Right.
confused me is in the same chapter as the people talking, it'll just go to the animals talking, which they did use italics
Mhm.
in the book. They also included like images, which is kind of cool. And so that would be a bit confusing because you'd be like, wait, is Mrs. Murphy or what is her name? Yeah, is Mrs. Murphy a person or the cat? The cat. It's the cat. Like I
Yeah.
kept doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was hard too, listening because you obviously don't get the italics there. Um, and when you heard, oh, said Mrs. Murphy, it's like, okay, right, that's the cat. Okay, we're back here. Like, it did make it difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we want to maybe talk about like maybe a thing, one or two things we liked and then one or two things we didn't like? Maybe that's the easiest way to just
Yeah.
sum it. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I can start with the thing I liked, which
Yeah.
was when I did understand that like we are like the animals are talking and we're there. I did like that element. You know, I
Yeah.
think I would like that in again if I go back to the first one, which I want to do now because I'm sure it's on my
Hmm.
shelf somewhere. Um, I
Probably.
I will pick that up, and I am curious if again if the characters build, but also like how they got involved in solving things and what that was like. I do
Hmm.
think the animals do create an interesting dynamic in a little cozy small town
Hmm.
mystery. You know, I do like that element of it. I think it got lost here because we were so confused with everybody.
Agreed.
But I can step back and be like, that is something I like. So I think I can go back and hopefully it's built upon and
Hmm.
enjoy it more that way. So I like that element.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I would also say, like, there was a lot of humor in the book that when I was able to be focused and not frustrated by the amount of characters, I thought the humor was good. I'll just, like, read 2 quick things that I bookmarked as, like, the example because 'cause they're from a small town in Virginia, which I also really like because that's very close to here. So, like, culturally, I felt like I do kinda know this town, and I
Hmm.
did really like that. But, like, one person in the town says, the West Coast, well, they're more open-minded, and then the next person trying to be snotty said, "Open-minded, they're porous," you know, stuff like that. And then, like, the animals witness, like, because there's this little romance subplot in here
Yeah,
between
random.
Harry
Yeah.
and this guy, and, one of the animals says, "I'm gonna throw up," and the other one says, "You don't have a romantic bone in your body." And it was just, like, stuff like that was so, like, cute. So I think there was, like, a humor or charm, I think the animals talking and the humor, like, that was in here, but I do think it just totally got drowned out, and, yeah, I also, like, you wonder if it shines through a bit better in the earlier book.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay, I'll stop there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. As far as you know, the one of the appeals of cozy mysteries is most of the time they're small towns. You have
Mhm,
a cast of characters that you can grow with and like and enjoy, and
mhm,
then there's random murders, which
mhm,
and that's the point of making it cozy, right? And it felt not so cozy when I didn't know all these people, right? Because I was like, who
mhm,
I. And it definitely, yeah, the charm got lost in that. So speaking of things we didn't like, I think we both didn't like that, as well as I appreciate a character list, I guess, but I was immediately like, "Whoa, what are we getting into?" Like, and I couldn't reference that in every 2 seconds when someone would pop
no,
in, right? It wasn't helpful.
mhm,
It wasn't.
yeah, um, yeah, and the kind of I think it's the last thing I didn't like, I guess, it's not, like, an overwhelming list, it's just the things I didn't enjoy were really, like, destructive to my reading, I guess you could say, but the other thing is, like, I just talked about how much I love slasher movies, like and I don't even mind, like, exploitation films when they're viewed through, like, the lens I have now, like, a critical lens. So, like, keep in mind, like, I'm that person, but when I was reading this, when I think cozy mystery, I don't usually think like of some of the stuff that was in this book because there's like some really intense plots about like and I'm not making a judgment on the characters, but like there's like teenage pregnancy and like making tough
Mhm.
choices there. There's even like a subplot about like choices about doing porn and things like that. And again, like in another book, like in a thriller, that would make total sense to me. Like, but the juxtaposition of like talking animals and porn was just a little strange for me
Yeah.
personally. I have read though, I did read a couple reviews just to get an idea, and I have read, at least as of when people were reading this one, it's quote unquote the darkest of this series.
Mm.
And so I again like want to give like grace and say that those topics in general are not like out of place in a murder mystery certain or any book, but it just the juxtaposition was a bit odd. And so that's the other thing is like that charm and humor kind of got lost because like it's not just typical like Angela Lansbury solving a case. It's
Yeah.
like some pretty intense stuff, but also props because like abortion is talked about really responsibly in this book. Like there are a lot of like ways that they handle the topics that were good. I didn't feel like it was irresponsible how they handled any of it. It was just
Especially
like
for
a
the
weird
time, right?
juxtaposition.
Especially for the 90s when this came out. I
For
mean,
sure. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and again, knowing this is, like, a woman who writes, like, lesbian fiction, it was cool to have, like, Marlene Dietrich is referenced in here, all the girls play field hockey, things like that, that are
yeah.
just, like, kinda fun when you know the background of the author. But yeah, the juxtaposition was a bit odd, but, yeah.
I agree, and that, didn't help the fact that it had a huge cast of characters we didn't know yet, because you had all of that going on. You had the murder, and then you have these tiny little subplots of, like, here's
So
some
many.
drama and big drama and romance and all these other things, which again, perhaps it's grown upon. I don't know that. I didn't read it that way, but, I am curious to find that out for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so, Kristen, do you want me to go first with my star
I want you
rating?
to go first because I'm gonna dramatically put my stars on there.
Okay, so
Or star, who knows?
or star, yeah, we don't know. So 1 star for me is like, I want a refund. Now, I didn't pay for this book, Kristen gave it to me, just FYI, but I mean, that's the vibe.
Feel like I'm gonna
2
throw
is
it back at her.
2 is I'm annoyed, 3 was it was fine, 4 is very solid, 5 is like, no notes, I loved it. For me, I actually wound up giving it 1.5 stars.
Mm,
I almost gave it 2, but the fact that I struggled so much to even push through the interpersonal drama and all the names to try to figure out the end is what made me realize, like, it's probably closer to 1.5. Again, weirdly, like you, I'd be curious about the first one,
mhm.
which is like so that there's redeeming stuff here. It just is like, this is not a book that I really enjoy, I don't think.
Yeah. And I did, I think it's no mystery. I'm not gonna give this 4 stars or 5 or anything.
You're gonna
So
give it
Murder on the Prowl.
6? Wow. It's off the
I
charts.
I have to give Reed props for the little cats he drew on
Yeah,
this.
those are cute.
Love that.
Love it.
All right. We're gonna go back to shiny stars now, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we are. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Let's do this. It's very dramatic, I know. All right, here we go.
Dang. You're
Here's the
always
thing.
lower than me, I think, almost every time.
I didn't say I was done.
Oh, okay, so my bad.
I just have to peel stickers.
You were, like, pressing it down aggressively for
I
I
was.
thought it was, like, a dramatics thing.
Here's the thing. I think I'm
Uh-huh.
giving an exact same rating as you, and this little star is gonna signify a little
You're
half
gonna
for
half
me.
star?
I'm gonna half star.
You never half star.
I don't. I
This is
think,
a big deal, y'all.
here's the thing. On Goodreads, I'm gonna round it up to 2 because I have no choice,
Mhm.
right? I didn't feel right giving it a 1 because it's not like I hated this book,
Mhm, mhm.
right? And giving it a 2 felt like too much, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So I think I would also want to do the half. And again, I want to know the beginning. Maybe
Mhm.
I would like it from the beginning. But I was so confused the whole time and it felt like homework and I was mad about it. So and doing the 2
Yeah.
speed just to finish it was I was still like, I'm just living my life. I'm just gonna listen to this and see what happens. And what am I gonna retain?
Mhm.
Maybe not much,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a bummer. It's not where I thought this would go, but
Yeah.
um I'm also like, yeah, I guess I should have picked a first in a series, and we know that for next time if there is one. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to come back sometime to reunite for the first book in the series and see
Winter
what happened.
break reading
Yes,
program.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
For the book report, the spoiler section, I don't have much to add other than I been knew Jody was struggling in big ways. And that's all.
yeah, yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
And I did like that the cat was like on her, like at the very
Yeah,
end. That was kind of cool. But that's really
yeah,
all I have to say for the book report.
I agree. I like the in cat moment the most. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't have much more to say either. Did you like, just as a sidebar, did you like the audiobook, like the narration?
Yeah. I thought the narration was fine.
Yeah.
Did you not like it?
I thought it was fine, but I was also like, oh, I feel like the way she's speaking
Mm.
is so, it just felt very, for lack of a better way to put it, old timey, right? Like the way she was
Mm.
narrating. I didn't hate it, but I was also
Hmm.
like, huh, not what I expected.
Hmm.
That's all.
I think for me, it was exactly what I expected. It's kind of how
Yeah,
I heard Harry in my head, the like main character. Um,
that's fair.
yeah, I didn't dislike it. And yeah, if you're interested in the series because you want to read about talking animals that solve crime, who wouldn't? Honestly, that sounds great. I think that the audiobooks are very widely available because my
Yeah.
library's Libby selection is very small and we don't have Hoopla. To give like perspective, they have a lot of physical stuff, but our digital library is just not the best. And I think that all of them are on there. So
Yeah, I would check out Libby at your
they're
library as
popular.
well as if you do have access to Hoopla, they are all on there. So that's cool too.
Yeah.
All right, let's catch up on the chat real quick
Yeah.
because I missed it all. So, what's your 5 old bad horror movie suggestions?
We'll come back to your question. I'll pull up my
Okay.
letterbox. Well, I'm only going to pick 80s cycle. Okay. Go ahead, Kristen.
And he said 2 times audio is fast. Absolutely. I can't normally do that.
That's
Chris says
my
that was
jam usually.
really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
That was fun info. I've heard of Ruby Fruit, but never would have connected the author, especially with the different genres.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Don't forget Pewter.
Yeah, I like Pewter was so funny. It was Pewter, I think, was the French bulldog. Is that right? This is how bad. I don't know, but they were so funny whenever they interacted with
Yeah.
T. Tucker and Mrs. Murphy. Honestly, the animals were
The animals were the best
great.
part,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Have you looked at another book? Do the characters change per book, except for Harry and maybe our close friends? I don't know. Did you find any of that out when you were like reading more?
Yeah, I think a lot of them are recurring. Like her best friend and the daughter, which feature I kind of liked that relationship at the beginning. I'm forgetting their names right now. Not surprisingly. Yes, there are a lot of recurring characters. I do think there are some that just pop up for like a book or two. But yeah, I think most of them are recurring.
Freddie's here. Hi, Freddie. I'm told reading was done. We did both finish this, so
Which is a feat, Freddie.
yeah. Murder mysteries have rather large cast often, don't they? Like Agatha Christie books. Not so much cozy mysteries, at least the ones I've read, but perhaps I haven't. I mean, I haven't read a ton, so this one clearly does. Freddie says sure, but they're all introduced there except maybe the detective, where the most of this cast passed from previous novels. Yeah, they were
Yeah, a good
reoccurring.
part of it.
Yeah.
And that is really cool. Like, I mean, I actually really love in movies and shows like small towns where there are a lot of like really distinct, quirky characters.
Like
And
Gilmore Girl vibes, yeah. Into
it's
that.
Gilmore Girls, but Appalachia. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hello, Elon. Did you finally eat some turkey Twizzlers?
We did
Unfortunately
look them up
not.
though.
Yeah, they do look interesting. Hello, Axel. Important takeaways today. Okay, he's
Mm.
got a list. Trapper keepers are making a comeback. I mean, they should. They should. Cat mysteries are bad and Christmas hates them. Absolutely not. I give it more than 1 star. Thank you. I don't.
You gave it less than Superman though, so I mean, they have points. They like making some points.
You know what? I'm gonna have to rethink my rating then.
I knew you were gonna say that.
'Cause that's not.
I knew it.
That little star is just a second one now. I have to round it up anyway for Goodreads, so that's 2. It's 2.
She's talking it back now, everyone.
It's 2.
Everyone's witnessing this in real time. Let the record state, and there is a record on the internet.
There is. What's a cozy mystery?
Mm.
It's small town vibes. Cozy meaning like you feel good and you're gonna feel good at the end of it, pretty much. At least that's what I take away from it. And there's usually like a murder in a small town, and yeah, that's really it. I
Yeah.
guess.
Like, for example, I don't know if any of you are Hallmark fans. Is it wild that I love Hallmark Christmas movies and 80s slashers? This is Range. Rita Mae Brown and I are soulmates. It's on Hallmark, they adopt, like, make adaptations of a lot of cozies. This will really help, I think. And one of them is called Murder She Baked, which is about a baker who runs into murders.
Yeah.
So if that gives you like an idea of like the vibes we're working with, I think that's
100%.
probably right. I have my 5 bad really quickly, so before I forget.
Oh yes, yes.
So I mentioned Slumber Party Massacre is my number one. My second one is a movie called April Fool's Day, which Maddie watched and loved, and she's going to show Elliot this weekend. So eager to see if Elliot loves it or hates it. My third one is Sleepaway Camp. I know it has kind of a troubling ending, but the internet is not the place to discuss that ad nauseum, so I'm not going to. My fourth favorite one is Intruder, which is basically like they're working overnight at a grocery store and there's a murderer, and I love it. It's got Ted and Sam Raimi, but I feel like with those big names, like it's just disappeared, and I love it so much. And then I'm gonna have to go with The House on Sorority Row. But there are so many, but those are probably my top 5 80s like bad slashers.
Nice.
Okay, we
Haven't
can
seen any of
resume the
those.
chat.
Are you surprised? I haven't seen any.
No, not at all. But if you did want to watch Slumber Party Massacre, you need to watch it with Maddie and I.
Okay,
The
I'm
amount of
down.
people I've converted to this movie,
I'm down.
it's a lot now. I should get a commission.
You should get a commission. You know what I'm also gonna do real quick.
Mm.
Because Freddie said there's no takebacks. Forget it. There's takebacks. Boom. 2 stars.
I should have never said anything and then just
2
waited till the end of the summer. We all know, though, Kristen, people will rewind and know the truth.
Look, we were already.
I'm a Rainbow Star truther.
You know, I wasn't doing half stars anyway. I can't do it because Goodreads doesn't allow me to, so I can't in my head, in my heart. I can't do it.
Anyways, back to the chat.
Peter was the second cat, the lazier one.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's right. Thank you so much. Yeah, Craze is
I
like,
love
I
that
got
Craze
this book
remembers.
guys- Yeah.
Craze, what was the bulldog's name? The one that was owned by one of the guys who had an obit, I believe.
Crazed, we
Let us know.
appreciate you doing the reading. That's very helpful.
Dedication.
You need to listen to the audiobook for Under Milkwood by Dylan Thomas, narrated by Richard Burton.
What's the
Okay,
plot?
Elon. I'll look it up. Okay, I'm scrolling back down. Here we go. Hallmark also has okay.
Aurora
Rush
Tea Garden.
Series, yeah.
Now they have an Aurora Tea Garden prequel because Candace Cameron Bure moved to the Great American Channel. My mom was devastated.
Oh no.
Drama.
I'm gonna watch all these movies, he says.
Yes.
I can see this book being a Hallmark movie. There is one of them adapted, right?
Yeah. I don't know. So it's called Murder She Purred, and I can add the link as a comment after the video. It was on YouTube, but now I had to find it somewhere else. And it stars Ricky Lake. And I don't know if it's based on one of the books, like the first one, for example, or if it's just like an adaptation that's like a new mystery, but with those same characters. But I agree with that sentiment for sure.
Nosferatu. Which else could we do in a noir show with Jess?
I hope so. Well, it wouldn't be noir cycle. For me, I mean, it would include some noir, but I also like screwball comedies and romances. I put the bug in his ear if he wants to do it.
He did say that he wants you to email him, apparently. So
okay.
I was like, I will pass that on.
I can do
that. Don't Knock Twice.
Yes.
Betray the Spirit of the 90s. Freddie. Artificially inflating cat murder mysteries and snub Superman. Listen, Superman gets the same rating. Okay, I didn't like either one. Okay, same.
We all saw it. You can keep talking, but we all saw what happened.
You know, I felt we were doing it anyway because I don't do half stars. I know,
but you did it, and I was like, okay,
it is controversy. It's fine. You don't even do double dog dares. Yep, there's scandal, controversy. That's what we
Mm.
do here. Winston was the bulldog, I think.
Okay, yeah. I think is that the picture I may have shown? Yeah, I just think he was cute. I just loved
Oh,
that.
yeah.
There were bits that I really liked.
And Susan Brooks was the best friend daughter. Crazed?
Yes.
Crazed is like, did you guys even read the cast list?
I did. No, I did like Brooks played field hockey with Jody. And Brooks was thinking about going to college. That's when they were talking about the West Coast, I think. That Brooks was getting ready to go to college. And I thought that was cute. I thought it did remind me a little of Gilmore Girls, like if Harry was
Yeah.
Suki, right? Like I
Yeah.
really liked that. And I did like Brooks as a character because the animals like really loved her because she would give treats and stuff. So there were a lot of things I did really like about like the bones of the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Top five old black and white movies.
Oh my gosh. I'll get out my list in a moment. Also, you know where you can give half stars, everyone? Letterbox. Here's some cats. I feel like I didn't show any cat ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I do like
They're,
the
s-
illustrations
they're just
throughout.
solving mysteries. They're
Yeah,
just
they're good.
solving. Oh, yes. I'm still moving on.
Murder She Wrote, Mrs. Murder Mystery, 1998 movie, part of the Wonderful World of Disney on ABC. Oh, I didn't realize it was part of that. Sleepaway Camp is on YouTube, apparently.
Yes, but the ending is not for everyone. So I'm just going to emphasize that before someone writes in that they were traumatized.
Is that the ending you showed me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maddie's See, I love Sleepaway Camp, but I don't go around recommending it because I know it needs a lot of like context. Whereas like Maddie does not care. Maddie's like, it's great, I love it. She gives no warnings. No warnings. And then people get to the end and they either like are like, whoa, and they kind of love it in like a sick way, or they get to the end and they're like offended by the movie, which is like both are totally valid. But I'm like, Maddie, you need to like preface when you recommend things to people. You can't just be like, I love this. Go watch it right now. Bless.
Also, hi, Dad. My dad's here now. Arsenic and Old Lace should be in Jessica's top 5 or 10 at least.
It's I pulled my list up. Some of these are color because the way I have this list is pre 1950. So there are a couple that are two that are in color. Arsenic and Old Lace is 14th, and I do love it. So my top 5 are It's a Wonderful Life, The Thin Man, After the Thin Man, The Best Years of Our Lives, and Holiday with Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant, which is a little lesser known. Casablanca is 7 in case anyone writes in. 4 is Rope, so that's in color, so that didn't count. But yeah, I could talk about those all day, so I won't.
Nice. This was not on her list, Frey.
Oh, I'll add this on Letterbox where you can give half stars and make
Ooh.
lists and share your lists with people.
I
And
need
if
to
any
do
of you
that
are on
now.
Letterbox, I would totally be your Letterbox friend. I
Okay.
love seeing what other people are watching and
If we can be
rating and
friends, then I
reviewing.
have to get back into my account for sure.
Yeah, do it. We should all be friends on Letterbox. Not a sponsor of this show, but
Not a spy.
if they want to be, they're like, would you like to sponsor this summer reading program?
How funny would that be?
Oh,
Right.
yes.
Psycho likes Holiday.
Yes.
Have you seen
Oh, that
Parasite?
movie
The Korean
messed me
film?
up. Yeah, I have. Korean horror and Japanese horror, like, they would take it seriously. It's like art and it's real, like, gets in your head, and you got to be like watching in daytime, in my opinion, and then watch like a lot of Moomins afterwards.
Yeah. My
Uh,
dad's given his own list.
yeah, Maltese Falcon's really high. It's in my top 20. Never seen Petrified Forest. I'll look that one up. I do love Psycho, although I don't group it there because it's like a little bit of a later era. It's hard to group these, I really think. Of course, I love Casablanca. I don't love The Big Sleep. That's like one of my hottest. I love the cast, but like I just don't. I think it's not the best pacing wise. I think.
I've seen Maltese Falcon. Does that count for anything?
Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah.
It's a solid one. I want to read the books because it's part of a series, and I
Yeah.
would like to read those.
Yeah,
Okay.
I look for those when I go to used bookstores because I want to gift it to my dad, but I never find them ever.
They're getting harder to find, and just a real. I'm segueing too much, but I just feel the need to say that it's something I'm really worried about with people pulling things off of streaming. Growing up, when I first got into like old Hollywood movies, it's because I loved It's a Wonderful Life, and it's still my favorite movie. It's like the best Twilight Zone Christmas episode of all time. And but growing up, it was really hard to find them. They weren't even really at the library originally. Now a lot are on streaming, but actually how I found them was Sam's Club had a deal with Warner Brothers. So a bunch of Warner Brothers archive movies would be on DVD, and I would just like beg my dad to get them when we were there. So I do have a pretty like good collection. But, I haven't bought as many because of streaming, and now with things being removed from streaming, I'm really worried, and I know it's not, as the generations change, I realize it won't be the most in-demand streaming. So, it's actually something I'm genuinely, like, worried about is, like, losing, I feel like in 10 years, all people will know is Casablanca, and, like, that's fine, it's a great movie, but, like, yeah, Holiday is such a hidden gem, it's so good, and no one talks about it now, so I can't imagine as these things become harder and harder to access, like, where we'll be, and it just makes me sad as someone who, like, loves media, who loves movies, and who appreciates, like, the history and evolution of, like, film, so I get sad about it. Sorry for that soapbox, but I'm adding the Petrified Forest. Get Larry on Letterboxd, and we'll be Letterboxd friends.
Where does Philadelphia Story stand?
I can't keep going back to my list, but it's in the top 20. That's why I offered Jess that I would totally do a show like that. Absolutely.
Cycle, are you on Letterboxd? Because clearly you guys should be friends on there.
You should be on Letterboxd too, because it's so good.
I have thoughts on the future of streaming. This TCA middle movies will probably live on in fast channels.
Yeah, I want to hear more about that.
It's true if you partake in that. I do not.
But even then, I just want to say, like, even then, when you think about the generations changing, I don't know if they really will be. You know what I mean? Because they aren't going to be the things people are thinking to do that in the first place. But I don't want to harp too much. I would like to, though, and people please keep going on in the chat, but I want to move into beach reads because I want to hear what people are reading. And I'm also going to plug at the beginning so people have time to catch up that I'm going on this trip tomorrow, as I mentioned, going to Seattle and Portland. I'll be very short time in Seattle and a little bit of longer. So in Portland, but if you have any recommendations because you've been there, let me know. I've got a pretty good like list, but I do, in addition to what you're reading, if you've been out there and you have a hidden gem you want to recommend, food or like shops or like tourist things, please do put them in the comments because I like to keep curating the list even right up till I get on the plane.
I'm the same way. Mine is not as exciting, but I am going to Columbus, Ohio. So if anyone in the chat, like Cycle, if you have some Columbus things I should be hitting up, just let me know. Just saying.
Have you been to the North Market?
No.
Because they have the best pierogies in Ohio.
I'm writing it down.
Which I don't know if that really means a lot.
North Market.
Yeah, you have to pay. You can sometimes find street parking, but they have a lot that's like $5, and it's basically a indoor market with individual vendors. So they have lots of shops, but then they also have like food. And if you like pierogies, I really think it's the best pierogies like in the region, in my opinion.
Love that. I'm very excited.
But yeah, what are you, as people are catching up, what are you reading or like about to read, I guess?
I can tell you what I'm currently working on. I'm kind of in the middle of 3 graphic novels, for whatever that's worth. Well, one's manga, which is, of course, A Man and His Cat, Volume 8. That just came out. Yeah. It's just still such a joy in my life. I love it so much.
I read the first, I just read one, I think. And I asked Kristen if it is more of the same or like some stuff develops, and you'd mentioned some stuff develops. So it is one that like Boys on the Run, I may read more, but right now I'm feeling content. But what I read, I really liked.
Yeah, Boys Run the Riot is the
Boys Run the Riot. Yeah, thank you.
Which, by the way, I just finished. It's only 4 volumes. So
okay, that's better than.
If you have an interest from your library, then that's where
after 20th Century Boys, which is taking me longer than it needs to.
I still need to get through the last volumes of that because I don't know. I also started The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich, which I know you recently finished.
Yep.
For my library, so I'm not that far in, but I'm enjoying it right now.
Yeah, and I think is that a debut? I believe.
Does it say?
The
I
off
mean, I've never read anything from them.
Yeah, I
It
think it's
doesn't.
their debut, because they, like, linked their Instagram, and I don't think much
Mhm.
else in the bio, and
Yeah,
I thought it was alright, but I would read more by them, like, it wasn't an alright that was, like, a sour alright.
yeah. Would you give it like 3?
I think so, yeah, mhm. It's so the cover, if you wanna show it again, because it's
Yep.
new, so maybe people are the cover makes it seem a little bit like it's taking place in the past, but really it seems like it's a whole alternate universe because, like, they're wearing these fancy regal clothes, but then they wear, like, T-shirts and, like, boxers, so it's kind of anachronistic, and the cheese part doesn't play in as much as, like, I wanted it to, which is a weird
Yeah,
thing to say, but it's in the names, but not much else, so, like, there were
yeah.
things that were so good about it, actually great, but they didn't really coalesce in a way that, like, worked at the end for me, but it was
Mhm.
still worth it and, like, genuinely would read more. The art reminds me there's this slice of life now I'm forgetting, I have it in my room. It's about, I think it's like a cheerleader love story. I'm gonna have to look it up afterwards that the art's similar, and I'm wondering if that's her. It's a webtoon, which would make sense as a path for this person or them, I should
Right.
say. Yeah.
And the last thing that I intend to finish soon because I've been working on it for it's one of those things I pick up and put down a lot.
Yeah.
And that's Girl Juice by Benji Nates, which is just hilarious nonstop. It's just so funny. It's about this pretty much this Valley Girl bunny and her group of friends, and it's ridiculous and over the top and just really entertaining. So I'm really enjoying it. I need to finish it. Yeah. And
Love
that's
that.
put up, yeah. Drawn and Quarterly put that one out.
I saw
Um,
that because you said I would love it, and I did see it at Joseph Beth, so
it's a good
it's sticking
time.
in my mind that it's around, yeah.
It's really fun. And it did also. I plan to start this probably tonight. I'm kind of chubby, and I'm your hero, which Maddie
Yeah.
loves. I got the first 2 volumes at Second and Charles, and yeah, it's manga. Plan to start soon. I
Yeah,
need to
I
pick
love
up
that.
prose, but I haven't yet. I don't know. I just don't know what
And
to read.
we won't be for next,
Yeah,
time either.
yeah.
Um, I haven't been reading much, as I alluded in packing. What I have read, I'll talk about in a second. I will say for the trip, because everyone read Flung Out of Space. I'm gonna do what Maddie does. No context. Just go read it, you'll love it.
I agree.
Um
So good.
But, it's about Patricia Highsmith, and I've read, like, most of her main works, but Kristen and I were talking about it, and it has been a really long time, and I'm taking a train ride between Seattle and Portland, so I'm bringing Strangers on a Train for my train ride, and then I'm gonna reread The Price of Salt, which I haven't read since college, on the plane there, so that's what I'm packing to read, but a new obsession has taken hold. Kristen was there in real time when I should have been reading Murder on the Prowl. So I've been on a letterbox kick. I've been watching a lot of movies, and I've been really into like autobi or not autobiographical biopics.
Mhm.
How do you say it?
I say biopics.
Freddie, you're like in the biz. What do you say? Biopic or biopic?
I mean, bio comes from biography, right?
Right.
So I'd say,
Biopic.
yeah,
Is it one word? It's
yeah.
good.
I don't know. I actually don't know.
I've been into movies about people's lives, and one of the ones that I watched with no context, was Tove, Tove, and it was about Tove Jansson, the cartoonist and author who I knew absolutely nothing about. Apparently, I've been living under, like, a rock, and I loved it. I thought she was fascinating, and she's the creator of the Moomins, and so I was like, "Somebody loves the Moomins," and it was Kristen. And so all in the same weekend, I I watched the movie twice. And then I tracked down the first two of her prose books. So I'm halfway through Comet and Movement Land. I hope to finish this before I leave, actually. I'm loving it. It's so cute. It's so peaceful. It has great little philosophy gems. And then Kristen is an enabler. And
Yeah, you get
when I
it?
wanted to when I wanted to read some of her comics, she recommended volume 1 so far of the collected edition, and it is beautiful book. And I have read the first 2 stories. Each story is about 30 pages, collected of ongoing comics. I can show some of it. And
It's
I
beautiful, right?
oh my
So
gosh.
beautiful.
I am just like really loving it.
Let me make you big here.
Yeah. I wish I could flip, but this book is very big.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but it's so interesting because, it's drawn in such an accessible way. The lines are so clean, but there's so much like little detail in these tiny pen, I don't know if they're pencil, but like pencil drawings, black and white, tiny, tiny details. But what's really interesting is it is accessible for children. It's wildly popular for children, particularly in Europe. Although I learned like why it didn't take foot here is because Disney tried to like get a contract with Tuve and she was like, no. And so it didn't really come to America really legally in mainstream like print in English for years and years until recently even. So now there is an American foothold. So now it's a lot more easy to buy those books that I was showing earlier. But what's so interesting is it is like designed for children, but it's like has an adult sensibility. Like the characters will be like having a party and they'll be like drinking wine at the party and, and they'll be like stressing about having company over and getting company out before bedtime. Stuff that kids don't relate to. And so it's kind of like it's very interesting and it's really like I said, it's very philosophical and it's like crazy to me the breadth of work that exists in this space that I just was totally oblivious to other than hearing the name occasionally. So I would just like highly recommend it if any of that sounds interesting to you. And there are great documentaries on YouTube, really well produced, about the philosophy of the Moomins and about Tuve's life. So it is a rabbit hole that I wish I could keep diving into, but with travel, I like resisted getting to like insane because I need books that will take me longer to read
Yeah.
on the plane. But that's what I've been really getting into and hope to get more into over the summer.
That is awesome. I love that you got that. You're making me definitely like want to pick it up again, as well as because I mean I've read some stuff. I haven't read that whole thing
Yeah.
because it's very big, but
Yeah.
I have all the pros and I haven't touched those, so I definitely want to start those. They're small, so I don't know why I haven't, but yeah, I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you see the second volume with the stuff from Lars?
Yeah, and I figured it out. So, Lars is Tuve's brother. Tuve had 2 brothers. I
Hmm.
believe one of them might still be alive, actually. And when she wanted to take more time for herself, she basically helped prepare her brother to take over the ongoing comic strip because that ongoing money from that magazine is what helped sustain the business before it really broke loose a lot in the 50s and was translated into English and all over the place in Europe, especially. And so I think there might still be some Tuve stuff in there, but it is mostly Lars, but with the same character and all with Tuve's like approval. So I think that's what the second one consists of mostly. And I would like to get it. But right now this was like my treat for myself. It wasn't too expensive though. It was under $40. And it's really high quality. You're totally right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Papers
beautiful.
are paper quality is amazing.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Also, Cycle, I've read all your Cleveland stuff, so thank you for those recs. We were definitely going to the Laughing Ogre. We're very excited for that. So, appreciate that. So, Elon is reading. Uh, Elon, tell me your thoughts on Boy Meets Maria because I've wanted to read it.
Hmm.
Um, I'm curious. Grace is reading Hickman's FF. Are you enjoying it? You know, I have Hickman thoughts.
They're not good.
Great True Crime Mysteries in Cold Blood. Have you read that?
Yes, in high school.
Yeah.
Haven't read
Did
it
you
since
enjoy it?
then. I can't really remember actually. It's something I would probably reread.
Yeah, I would like to. I've never read it. Biopic is one word. Thanks, Freddie.
Biopic.
Thank you.
Biopic.
My dad read 20 or more pages of An Absolutely Remarkable Thing. Just keeps getting better and better. Told you it does. I'm not going to have any problems getting the second hardcover, am I? I haven't looked yet. No, probably not. I
No.
wouldn't imagine
I
not.
think they're like widely in paperback and
Yeah.
hardcover still, I think.
Yep, I believe so. But I can look that up for you later, Dad. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And the second one's even better. I really think that.
Hmm.
Have you read those, Jessica?
Yeah, I love them.
Oh, yeah.
That's one that we'd said it is like it's strange because it's a mix of highly specific things. It's largely science fiction, and yet it's like a universal rec, I think.
Right, right.
Um,
Yeah, I remember that now. Sorry. Yeah,
Mm.
they're like that's 100% my favorite duology I've ever read because I can't even think of another duology I've read. But it's definitely in my top, like whatever. I don't know. I really loved it. Um, Reading Babbitt by Sinclair Lewis. I'm not familiar with that, but
I
cool.
think it's is that like an old timey satire, like political satire book? I think.
Mm.
I think my political science teacher like loved that book.
Freddie bought a lot of prose and haven't read it yet. Literally can't relate, Freddie. The moment I get prose, I'm like, done. Time War, Time Travelers Arrive, Dirk Gently, 2001 Space Odyssey, Salmon of Tao, Tangle Root Palace, and some Doctor Who stuff. That's
I
cool.
haven't even heard of a good chunk of that. Oh wait, maybe I
Same.
have. Salmon of Doubt, I haven't. Time War, I haven't. I want to read the Dirk Gently stuff too because I thought that show was really fun. I wonder
Yeah,
how
you'll
it
have to
is.
let us know, Freddie. Um, Both Kelly Thompson, Bird King, Pan's Labyrinth, and Jessica, if you've seen Avatar, those novels are fantastic and so gay.
Hmm. Yes. Oh, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, the first one is on my list. Um, I was trying to read. I'm confused about this though. Novel recommendations.
Yeah, I'm thinking you meant not novel.
Oh, okay, okay.
Well,
I love Pan's Labyrinth. Is that a book too? I mean, that makes sense because isn't it kind of like a tale? Freddie, please add some more
yeah,
context. Thank you so
I'm
much.
confused by that
I
too
want to
because
know.
I'm like Kelly Thompson. That would be not novel stuff, but the
No,
rest of
yeah.
it sounds like novel stuff.
Keep us posted.
Axel's asking if you take physical books on planes or digital.
It depends. This time it's physical because I down it's so I'm taking a connecting flight. It's like going to be a long bit of travel and I know whatever the screen will hurt my eyes for a while, so I'm bringing a physical book, but I downloaded some shows on my phone to watch on the plane as well.
Awesome.
So it'll be a mix cuz it's going to be a long day.
Babbitt's from the
Yeah.
20s, dry, satirical critique of modern life. Okay, cool. And Cycle is reading The Good Asian today.
Oh, that was really good. You should read that, Kristen.
I've heard that. I want to for sure. Um, you're aware of my thoughts, yeah. Yes, I am. First FF aside from Full Circle, and I like the group dynamic and humor so
Mm.
far. Only about a fourth way through. I have to say, I mean, I haven't read it, so maybe it's awesome.
Cuz you
But
read Hickman's Avengers. Is that where all this is
yes,
coming from for you?
yeah, I didn't like Hick Vengers,
Mm.
but I'm glad you're enjoying the FF. I even bought the Dirk Gently comic from
Ooh.
IDW. There's a thick collection, 50% off on IST right now.
Okay.
Jessica, it's a good
No.
deal.
But I just bought that Moment book and I'm about to spend a lot of money on my trip.
That's true. Maybe wait. Hey, maybe you'll find one like for a good deal in some shop.
Yeah. Well, two of the places I don't yeah, I did tell you this last night. I like can't keep anything a surprise. I'm like, I have to show Kristen right now. So a couple book places that I'm visiting. Also, someone asked if it was my first time going there. Yes, I've never been that far west in this country ever.
Mm.
The farthest west, I don't even know. I'd have to look at a map, but I've definitely never been on the left half of the country. So this is my first time. But some of the book places that I'm going to Pal City Books in Portland, which is I thought it was the country's biggest bookshop, but online it says they're the world's biggest bookstore.
It's so exciting.
I need to budget more time. I think I allocated not enough time, but I have to. It's partly because I need to also like I can't bring that much back on the plane. Like I have a backpack's worth that I can do, and I've got other stuff.
I have to ask really quick. Do you wonder if you're going to go into Pals and find a copy of Fun Home at the same moment another person finds a copy of Fun Home? And then, do you know where I'm getting to with this?
No.
That's the plot of that romance book that you had me read
Oh,
because she
yeah, I
was at
didn't even make
Pals.
that connection.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a whole moment while I'm in
I
there.
know. That's gonna
I
be
will be
amazing.
finding the love of my life at Powell City
I
Books.
really hope you do.
What if I do though? I have to move so far. Also, my
It's
friend
true.
in Portland told me they don't have a lot of air conditioning, and I
Oh, Well, then
That
you meet
seems
this person and you say, "You're coming back to Kentucky." Like, this is
I
not
don't think I could ever convince someone who's native to there to be like, "Come here," but who knows? But I'm going there. I'm also going to Books with Pictures, which is a very famous queer-owned comic book store in Portland. I also read, I was on their website, and I think it was for last year. They were voted #1 comic book store in the nation. So really excited about
love that.
that. I've been following them on Instagram, and they're at a festival this weekend, and then they'll be at Pride, which will also be when I'm in Portland. So I'll be seeing them there too. And then I didn't know this, but I just added it to my list. That's why I seriously am taking recommendations up to the last minute. That I was like researching what to do in Pike Place when I'm in Seattle. I have a really limited time, so I'm like even mapping out like where things are to be really efficient. It's fun to vacation with me. Anyways,
We do the same thing. Like, we'll be doing that later. Like, okay, where do we
yeah,
go for the best
yep.
time, and how do we? Yeah,
That's Reed and I. We get each other.
yeah.
We hate birds. We love efficiency. But Golden Age Collectibles is inside Pike Place, and I was like, oh, cool, a comic book store in Pike Place. I'll look it up. And they are the nation's oldest still running comic book store. So I got to pick up at least like a single in there.
Yeah.
Just to like, support.
Yeah.
So those are some of the bookie things that I'm doing while I'm up there. And I have to
Love
be
that.
really prudent about the space that I have, or otherwise I'm leaving stuff with my friend.
Mhm.
And I don't want to do that.
You're like, that's my stuff.
That's my stuff.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe next time on our next show, we could show some pictures from your journeys.
Oh,
That'd be
absolutely.
fun.
Yeah. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
So Freddie's like, hey guys,
Oh.
Kelly Thompson wrote prose.
Hey, Freddie, we knew that. We were just
Freddie,
testing you.
we were just like testing you. That's absolutely what it was. Well, that's exciting. Love that. Didn't know. We totally knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally knew.
The Girl Who Would Be King, I believe, is that also a movie? That sounds familiar. I gotta look this up.
I feel like that does sound familiar.
Okay, I know Marjorie Liu. Or is it Liu or Liu? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he
there we go.
corrected
There
her,
we go.
yeah.
Yeah. I know who that person is.
Not what days you'll be here, but Pride is next weekend.
Wait, Crazed, are you in Portland?
I was just gonna say.
No, I am gonna be there for Pride. My friend Chelsea and I don't know why I'm airing her first name. My friend and I, she'll be fine. There's a lot of Chelseas. My friend and I are going, I think on Sunday.
Sounds like Crazed is there.
I'm just saying, like, if we're both at Pride at the same time, there's no reason we can't say hi to each other.
That's really fun. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be in Portland that weekend. I'm starting in Seattle for a work thing. That's why my time is more crunched there.
Pan's Labyrinth is a novelization, so much more context.
Oh, okay. I'm definitely reading that. I love Pan's Labyrinth. It's like one of my favorites of all time. There is a Guillermo del Toro exhibit at one of the art museums in Portland right now, and I don't think I have time to go, but like I would love that. Oh, good. Okay, this is good to know. Books with Pictures.
There you go.
I just got to see it.
Yeah, I wish I could go with you. That's very exciting. Okay. Freddie's saying there are several movies about girl kings and woman kings, but not of the novel yet. Okay.
Okay.
If there's more than one Chelsea, we might be out.
She's probably fine with me saying.
Okay, Crazed is in Portland.
Crazed, I'm just saying. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I'll be there for several days if you want to say hi.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited, and thank you for confirming the Rex. Much appreciated.
Absolutely.
Next episode.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Usually, I have it to pull out. Do you have yours?
I didn't either.
We both came ill prepared.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, where did I put it? I moved it for this.
Hang on, I'll get mine.
Okay, sorry.
No. I don't know why I forgot. I always remember this.
I also forgot. We're clearly on top of it. I am very excited for the next one, though, for sure.
What'd you say?
We're very on top of it, and I'm excited for the next one. There it is.
Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
By Slott and Alred. Let's go. And Laura Alred. Yeah. I'm assuming they're married.
They are, yeah.
I don't think I noticed that. And this is both of our first times, even though this book has been hyped. The hype is real, y'all.
It's huge. Yeah.
And it better be because I'm gonna have 3 days to read this,
Oh,
basically, from when I get back. I think it's possible. Look
I
how
think you can do it.
I think I can
It's
do
not
it.
that big. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So very excited we're reading the whole omnibus.
That's right. So read it with us, although most of you probably have read it. But maybe not. Maybe you're like us.
Oh, Freddie said not enough Laura Allred
Yeah.
recognition. Freddie, does she also do so I did read Superman Space Age, which I loved, and I was telling Kristen about that last week, and Michael Allred does the art there. Are they always creative partners like
I
Paul
think
Miotti and Connor, or do they do some separate stuff? What's the
I was
deal?
gonna say, I think Chris says I think she colors all of his
Oh,
stuff. I'm pretty sure that's right.
and low key, that's some of my favorite
Yeah,
like hallmark of this art is
I
the
agree.
colors. I
Yeah.
think that's what really sells it. Ugh.
Axel saying that runs golden. Crazy excited for this one. Awesome. Freddie says I think you can do it in two. There's 2 runs you can read each per day. Wow. There you
I
go. There's
think
your
so
plan.
too, Freddie.
Yeah.
And I think I'll be so like in decompress. If worse comes to worse, I think um I can borrow someone's Marvel Unlimited account
Yeah,
and
for sure.
just download some and read some on the plane home to like get a
Oh
head
yeah,
start.
it's a good idea. Um,
Yes.
yeah,
The
she
art
also does stuff
on
outside of
Joelle
it.
Jones Catwoman. Yes, that is the same. Look at me learning things.
My dad says that SS is a 10 out of 10, despite the super annoying turn the book sideways segment. Those are very annoying when you're reading a book and you suddenly have to move
Oh
them.
yeah. Is it a large part? Well, I guess we'll find out. No
Yeah, I
spoilers.
don't know.
Yeah, I'm like really, really I was looking ahead at like what reads we have coming up. And like the next chunk are all almost everything we have left. Actually, everything we have read except for Silver Surfer, I've already read and know that I at least
Oh,
enjoy, if not love.
yeah.
So
Well,
we're
that's
on like a
exciting.
high stretch, which is real good because this was really hard to push through. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have, I'm like, let's look at the board.
Yeah, let's look at the board.
Silver Surfer, and then it's the Mighty Heart and Hazel Bly, right? Is that right
Yeah,
after?
the
Yeah.
Ashley Herring Blake middle grade double feature. They're very quick to read. I just want to pitch them again. I'm going to do it after
Do
Silver
it.
Surfer, but like I just can't express enough. Like if you want to try to read at least one thing, like even if middle grade's not your jam, normally middle grade prose, this is the one to take a chance on. I would say it's Mighty Heart for sure. Either one they're both very great. But this summer I think I've never read a cat cozy. I don't read it. I read thrillers, but I don't read a ton of like straight up mysteries. So like, and then we did our super Spidey swap. I think like this summer I have been, even if we haven't loved it, like proud of like trying new things because that's the whole point. Like when we were talking about what we would read, I think we did strategically pick some things that have been on our list for a while, but we just need motivation. So
Hmm.
like if it's not normally your jam, to read like middle grade prose. I think that is the week because they're so quick and they're very common at the library. They're very popular books, particularly Sunny St. James. So you've got lots of time if you start now. Especially, it sounds like most people have read the Silver Surfer Omni. So yeah, I would because a lot of the other ones I think fit in what a lot of folks read, like science fiction and fantasy, be it through comics or prose. But those are a little bit outliers in what's to come. But I think worth taking a chance on just to see if you like it.
Yeah, I'm very excited for those. I
Yeah.
agree. All right. Well, I think we did it all. Yeah.
We crushed it. I was
Yeah.
nervous.
Me too.
Um,
Me too.
I didn't think I was gonna finish, but I was gonna be okay with it, Kristen, which is like wild because that's not like me. But I was
Yeah.
like, "You got travel, you got other things on your mind." Kristen said it was okay. You told her it
Yeah.
would have been okay,
Yeah.
but I
It's always
just pushed
okay.
through. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But we did it. We crushed it.
we
And one
did.
day, I think we're going to go back to the beginning. I see it happening.
I think real talk. Winter break reading program. I don't know about the first one of this, or if we try to find because we got lots of time a
Hmm.
cat cozy that's holiday themed. There's probably a Sneaky Pie
Ooh.
one, but then we're still gonna wind up reading something further down
Right. Right. Right.
down in
Right.
the series. But I would 1000% try to find another cat cozy, like, and give it another shot. And like, it would be cool to make it holiday themed, like
Yeah.
for
I
that. So
agree. We can do that. Yeah.
planting a seed in July, Christmas in July.
Totally got it. Exciting.
Oh, we have a what we did learn today.
Oh,
Reed
what did
loves
we
Dan
learn
Brown.
today?
He hates butterflies.
Rita made cat murder. I mean, cat murder is always bad. That is true.
She's cat co-authoring.
Yeah.
I wonder how long Sneaky Pie did live.
Oh, sneaky. That's a good question.
There is a little note from Sneaky Pie. There's a lot of little cute things in here. There's a
Yeah,
note from Sneaky Pie.
that's cute.
And the best part when it says, P.S. Dogs, get a cat to write for you. So funny.
Rita Mae slasher movies equal good.
They do. There's only one, and it
Yeah.
rules.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. We appreciate it.
Happy summer.
If you read this with us, thank you, Crazed. Appreciate it.
Craze, you put in the work, and we
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So much.
Love
You
that.
understood more than we did. Love that for you.
Your reading comprehension is a 10 out of 10. You deserve a pizza party just for that alone.
Yes, just for you.
Yeah, and it sounds like people are very excited for. I kind of love that next time we're reading something, it feels like everyone else read. Like people are educating us right now. And I love that for us, actually.
I do too.
I actually really love that.
You know what? We're finally doing our homework. We're gonna get it in late, but at least we're doing it, right? At least we're doing it.
Yeah. And who knows? We could roll up with some extra credit. Y'all don't know.
Yeah.
What will I be able to pull off in 48 hours?
Oh, you're gonna read 100 nominees. You're gonna be like, I read all of these.
I went back to the very first Silver Surfer issue so I could compare.
Wow. Amazing.
Anyways, yes, it's gonna be great. See you all in 2 weeks. If you're watching this later and you want to continue to put Portland, Seattle Rex in the comments, Jessica will take note of them.
Absolutely.
And just keep changing my list up until the very last minute.
Yep. And if you have Columbus, Ohio Rex, throw them in there too. Seems less likely, but hey, I appreciate you cycle for that.
I like Columbus. Yeah. It's my favorite Ohio city.
I haven't been in many years, but I remember really enjoying it. So I'm very excited.
Yeah. I think you're going to have a good time.
Awesome. Well, Crazy to say maybe they'll see you at Pride.
If you recognize, I won't recognize you unless you have your dog with you. If you recognize me, I'm serious. Stop me. That would be so wild to run into you way across the country from where I'm normally on here. Would love that. Say hi to Chelsea and I.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. All right, and we'll tell you all about Jessica's adventures next time when we talk about Silver Surfer. See you guys.